Hi, I'm Ollie and I hold an offer to read engineering at Magdalen College, Cambridge. So throughout the beginnings of the application process, I found myself torn between architecture and engineering. So without wanting to constrict my options, I unusually applied for a mixture of both architectural and engineering courses. Of course, by doing so, I introduced the problem of needing to write a heavily mathematical personal statement that also looked at my enjoyment of architecture and design. I think my DT coursework helped merge these areas, as I looked at origami-inspired collapsible shelters for my work. I also researched my interest in the overlap between physics and the built environment, particularly around natural ventilation and energy generation. Although I only mentioned one book in my personal statement, Sustainable Energy Without the Hot Air by David McKay, this was enough as I expanded on the mathematics of heat pumps, wind turbines, and tied in my thoughts on achieving sustainability in the future. After the continued feedback from my experienced subject mentor, Mr. Whitaker, I felt I was finally happy with my personal statement. And after submission, I also received an offer for Bath Architecture, my second choice. The next stage of the Cambridge application was the entrance exam, known as the ENGA for engineering applicants. My revision focused on past paper questions, which I completed at home and in weekly school sessions. The school also organised mock exams, but I regret not sitting more papers under timed conditions, as the timings hindered my performance in the real thing. The final decisive step was, of course, the interview. I underwent two, both at Magdalen, and in preparation I tried to tackle as many questions from the book Professor Povey's Perplexing Problems and the website I Want to Study Engineering. My physics department and subject mentor also held numerous mock interviews which I found invaluable. For the real thing, my interviews dived directly into technical questions, none of which related to my noted interests. Luckily, I was anticipating this as my personal statement was not as traditionally engineering focused as a typical candidate's. On one electricity question, I began to tie myself in knots, but I recognised this and took their advice promptly, a quality I think the interviewers look eagerly for and try to pry out of every candidate. Although I ended up in Magdalen College, I actually placed an open application, as I found I didn't have any attraction to any particular college. I understand that the colleges do not know whether you place an open application or apply directly to them, and I found in my case that I was not hindered in the slightest by this. I hope the information I've given you has been helpful, and good luck in your application.